the dice is all yours.
Thank you. Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I hope all of you had lunch and are well settled. And this is the toughest spot to be because if you speak right after lunch, you have a lot of faces which are either yawning or kind of bored or looking at their watches. So I'll try to make it interesting. But project is a bit of technical product, so we don't have too much of excitement like how Abhishek was doing, clap your hands and stuff like that. But anyway, how many of you have heard about MS Project? How many of you have heard of MS Project? How many of you are in some form or shape associated with projects in your organization? Some way or form you're associated, right? So I'm going to talk about the project management in today's era. You would have realized that in last 5-7 years, everything around has changed, whether it's taking out cash from bank or ordering grocery from online apps, everything around is changing. So before I move to project, I want to talk about the digital transformation. And the digital transformation, the journey has already started. We are already 3-4 years ahead in our journey. So I'm going to show you a small video which will tell you about what this journey is going to be. And it's going to be very rapid and it's going to be very fast. So embrace yourself because everything around you, whether it's projects, it's resource management, it's cost management, anything that you do will get impacted by the digital transformation. And this video will help me just keep the energy a little high as well. So I'm just showing you the video. How many of you believe that what was shown in the video is a possibility in the next few years? You can raise your hands. Yes, 100% of the people believe that what you saw on in the video is going to be possible. So digital transformation, data, artificial intelligence, cloud, all these things are going to be an inherent part of everything that we do in the next 4 years, next few years, and it's going to change rapidly the way we work. So technology is shaping the way we work. People work out of different locations. And why am I talking about all these things? Because project management is going to be uh, changing from how we manage projects through MS Project to the reality which is tomorrow, which will be Project Cloud. So there are 3 or 4 things very, very critical which are a part of the digital transformation journey. First is that the number of people, they are working in multiple teams, they are working in different locations. Information data and workload is increasing, and security has become a big threat. So we see a lot of these things come into our daily lives, and when we manage our projects, and we have to take care of these important factors. Are you using the data properly? Are you leveraging different people who are based out of different locations? Are you keen to manage data with security? Are you making sure that the records are kept properly, etc.? So this is a new concept. It's called digital Darwinism. How many of you have heard about Darwinism? All of you, right? What does it say? Survival of the fittest. So if you don't adapt yourself, if you don't change yourself, if you don't move according to the digital transformation which is happening today, there is a risk of you not being the fittest to survive. So the evolution of consumer behavior when society and technology is evolving faster than your ability to adopt is digital Darwinism. And that has become a very, very critical component of today's era. So you must have heard about industrial revolution. You know, you had steamers, and then you had you know, the labor revolution, and then there was this electronic revolution. This is the industrial revolution 4.0, which is the digital revolution. And the digital revolution is basically blurring the physical and the digital divide. So everything that we do is now possible digitally. Earlier, there was hierarchy. So when you manage projects, there was a head of project. He would decide, you know, how to divide the projects into sub-projects, and it was a top-down culture. In today's era, it has become, you know, the information is at different places. There are different teams working. There are multiple people creating the content, multiple people working on that project. Decisions are dispersed. So a lot of things that are happening today is different than how it used to happen earlier. Even the teams, they used to be siloed teams, like one team managing one project, not talking to the other team managing the other project. But now, in today's era, multiple teams need to have multiple synergies with different project members, different teams, different hierarchies. Decision is dispersed. So if you look at the graph, this is how it's changing, the way projects are being managed. Meetings have become modern. There is a stall for teams, so a lot of people have, instead of having face-to-face interaction, they like video calling, they like to chat, there are groups, social groups where they want to interact. So even for project management, different team members might need to come in a call, on a Teams call, and interact with each other. Content co-creation, if you're creating a project plan, it's not necessary that one person creates a project plan. Multiple people might be involved, and that data should be shared among each other. Mobility is important. You know, we still have, especially in the public sector space, a lot of people going to the same office and coming back from the same office. But even today, the fact that there are some people based out of Bangalore, some people might be based out of Mumbai, and they're still working on a project, and you know, the files are moving digitally, that has started happening. So how do we inspire a journey of project management through digital transformation is what we are going to talk about in the next 15 to 20 minutes. I think a lot of people, almost every project manager uses MS Project. It is time, if you have not started your journey to cloud, if you have not moved your projects to project online, the time is now. This is the right time to move your MS Project into project cloud or project online, And I gave you some of the examples, some of the digital transformation journey, how it's happening today. It needs to get faster. So these are some of the trends. As you can see, 17% projects fail. This is the reality of today. 17% projects increase, the effectiveness increases if there is a communication, which I spoke about, like modern meeting, etc. 71% of projects, they are dependent on good quality data, and data is impacting a lot of projects. And according to McKinsey, lean project management helps improve the projects by 20%. So this is the reality with PPM. PPM is project and portfolio management. It is available both in on-premises and cloud, but in today's era, I highly recommend usage of cloud because there are tremendous tools available on cloud. So these are the improvements if you use project and portfolio management on the cloud. You see 37% increase in strategic alignment, 32% increase in the time, 22% increase in time to market, and IT budget saving of 2 to 5%. My colleague will talk in detail about these tools which are available in project and portfolio management. It is across the pillars of cost management, resource management, and cost, resource management, and schedule management. All the three pillars are available, but other than these three, there are many others like risk management, demand management, portfolio analytics, etc. My colleague will talk in detail about these. So why on the cloud? Most of you are using Office 365, right? Most of you are aware of Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Outlook, and a lot of public sector organizations have already moved to Office 365. Now you can merge your project with Office 365, and let me just quickly explain you how. For example, if you have a deadline, like November 2019 is your deadline, and the top management wants to know that if there are any projects which are moving beyond November, then the CEO or the head of that ministry wants to have an alert. So you can create a mechanism where the minute it hits the deadline, an email comes to the CEO box. Similarly, if something has moved beyond, say, 6 crores, and the PMO wants to know what happened, so there should be an alert. So your Outlook, your Yammer, your Skype, Teams, whatever, all the tools of Office 365 are now integrated with project. So with project, teams can collaborate better, you will have better insights. So there will be a dashboard. In those dashboards, you can see exactly which projects are getting delayed. There will be red, yellow, green. Why is it delayed? You can just double click on those reds to see why they are delayed, who is delaying it, why are they getting delayed, is it a particular supplier which is perpetually delaying things. You can take better decisions, and your strategic alignment will improve when you go online. So the biggest advantage you have with project is that the teams work the way they want, and executives get the result they need. So at a top level, if the leadership team is very clear that this is what I want in this much time, the teams can work on the way they want to work and get the results which the leadership team wants. So your migration to project online, you should just keep it very, very lean, archive everything else. What is important, keep that. Work with the senior management to find out what are the important things that needs to get aligned. So keep only those projects which needs focus from the senior management. Understand your requirements for resource management. Build a platform, slice it by time, slice it by which are the managed services. And understand what is critical, why is it critical, which are the points. And PPM is a very customized solution. We can come and do a workshop to show you how, what you're doing now, and how if you implement PPM, how will the dashboard look like, how will the decision making be aligned. So do the right projects, do projects right, and get the right outcome. With that, I'll hand it over to my colleague, Alok. Alok is the solution specialist for project for Microsoft India, and he'll talk to you about the details of what I spoke about, some of the dashboards, some of the scenarios, and some of the tools. So thank you very much.
Thanks, Sanyukta, and I think Sanyukta has articulated a complete project lifecycle management and how a digital transformation can be done in a traditional way of managing projects. The product what we are going to talk about here is Project Online, which is a collaborative project lifecycle management solution. I will take just 2 minutes to give you a perspective how it is different from the traditional way of managing projects. We all have seen projects, and it is irrespective of any organization or industry vertical, we deliver a lot of projects. But unfortunately, the traditional way of doing this project is to work in silos. When I mean to say silos, that means we do have a dedicated team who creates a project plan. Then there are teams who execute these projects based on the schedulers or the work breakdown structure. And then somebody set up a PMO who tries to collect the information from various stakeholders, irrespective of whether they are part of the organization or third-party contractors, subcontractors, and all. Now, doing those kind of activities, most of the time, the real view of execution of that project misses somewhere. And when we try to present it to the management, the actual reality and what we are presenting to the team, there is a big gap. Now, modern project lifecycle management solution says that any stakeholder who is part of that particular project, irrespective of whether he is part of the organization or whether he is not part of the organization, he might be a contractor or a subcontractor, until and unless they are putting entire information of that project in the system, we would not be able to do a proactive analysis of those projects. So what I'm trying to cover right now is to give you a glimpse about how Microsoft Project Online, which is an enterprise project portfolio management solution, how it is going to transform the entire project management piece. Sanyukta has mentioned about this. Most of the time we have seen the project doesn't get completed on time. We are not focusing on the right projects, or we are not doing the projects in the right way. And these analysis and the research what multiple agencies has done, they have identified that until and unless any project which has been initiated or which is being focused, if it is not aligned to the strategy of an organization, it misses the focus. And that is where we are trying to position Microsoft Project Online, which is a comprehensive tool which can help each and every organization on how to identify those projects which are aligned to the organization's vision. This is a brief about Project Online. I will give you a brief understanding about each and every module which comes as Project Online as a solution. Let me give you an example. If we are considering a road construction, let's say it's a 20-kilometer road which needs to be constructed. There can be flyovers, there would be bridges, and there would be a normal road which needs to be laid down. So program management is one of the modules which can help us to have multiple projects within the projects. So we can have different kind of programs, and these programs will have different kind of projects. An example is a bridge or a normal road or a flyover. Similarly, when we talk about demand management, now how we are going to analyze that based on the critical initiative of an organization, what is those priority programs or priority projects? Are we having a complete portfolio analytics onto that? How we are monitoring those projects? Do we have a proper time reporting system so that each and every stakeholder who is participating in that project is actively involved in the delivery of that project, and he is updating the progress through the system? Similarly, the solution has an inbuilt Power BI or business analytics tools, which gives a complete dashboards, and these dashboards are configurable dashboards based on the roles and responsibilities of an individual. Let's say, for example, a project head. He might want to view all the projects what they are delivering and the progress of those projects. Similarly, there would be project managers who want to do a micromanagement of those projects. So this analytics can help us to identify all those processes, and proactively it can help us to do all those decisions. Similarly, we do have risk analysis. When we say risk analysis, any risk which is there which can create a problem, how we can mitigate that risk and how we can proactively ensure that any risk which is going to create an issue should be popped out or, or notified to those stakeholders who can proactively take a decision. then Sanyukta talked a lot about collaboration. The biggest challenge what we face these days is that we all are working, but we are working in silos. The beauty of this solution is that it is a collaborative tool. Why it is a collaborative tool? Because it has an inbuilt workflow management system where each and every process or activity is governed through a proper workflow. And it has an inbuilt document management system. Most of the time when it happens that we have to do some approvals, the traditional way is that we get information through an email attachment or through a document which can be in the form of CD or files, and most of the time we spend more time and energy in digging out those documents and taking a decision. This kind of solution can help us seamless flow of documents along with that workflow, which makes the decision making fast. So this is a brief about a glimpse of the solution, which has a complete project scheduling solution. It has a resource management application module, which can help us in identifying the right resources. So this is a brief about what we have as an offering from a solution perspective. But when we talk about Microsoft Project Online as a solution, it takes care of entire life cycle of projects. When it starts from ideation, when we have identified that, okay, these are the top 5 or 10 projects we want to execute, then comes the planning stage where we talk about scheduling of those applications or scheduling of those project plans or work breakdown structure, then how we are going to execute, collaboration, which we talked about just now, how the solution can be collaborated or how different departments of an organization, because project is one piece which needs to talk to multiple applications, which can be our back-end operational applications. So the system has a capability to get integrated with any third-party applications as well. Now, we have given a brief about what is the solution we are talking about, but what is that a benefit we are getting from it? One is project management. If we are using a tool like this, we have a better program execution. When we are using a tool like resource management, we can optimize our resources and have best resources allocated to best projects. Similarly, portfolio management gives us a flexibility to align with the vision of an organization and identify what all are the right projects which needs to be executed. And then collaboration, which is the biggest piece, helps us to collaborate and increase the productivity of each and every stakeholder who is going to participate in that project. The biggest thing what we have seen is that although we are delivering the projects on time or in a right manner, but the another gap what we face is that are we participating a complete life cycle? Let's say, for example, when we talk about project online, it is about plan, build, operate, and maintain. The reason I am highlighting on this is that most of the time, the building or an infrastructure is created, but when it comes to operation or maintenance, the documentation which needs to be handed over to those different teams, most of the time we don't have a single tool where we can pass on all these drawing design documents to operation and maintenance team. So our solution, which is Project Online, has a seamless integration and a seamless document management system so that entire documentation can be passed on to our operation and maintenance team. This is something which I have given you a brief understanding about the life cycle of project, but this particular slide I'm going to talk about how it looks like when we talk about doing the same activities through the system. So this particular matrix, what I'm showing you, is a strategic impact matrix. Based on that, we can identify those projects which needs to be delivered. I have given you an example of creating a road. Let's say similar kind of activities or projects we have identified. With this particular strategic matrix, we can identify what kind of impact this particular project is going to deliver, whether it is helping us in increasing the commutation. This particular slide, if we look at, we are talking about a strategic impact project, which is creating a metro line based on the budgets what are available. So prioritization of all those projects can be done through strategy impact matrix. Similarly, we have workflows. This is what I was talking about. Most of the time when we are delivering a project, biggest challenge comes in that since everybody is working in silos, there might be some activity like land acquisition, which may take some time, but since it has not been incorporated in the complete project schedule, we start working on different activities, and that particular activities can delay the entire process. So until and unless we have a complete governance and workflow, the system will not allow us to move to the other activity until and unless that particular piece has not been completed. Project Center, this is something where we have a complete portfolio and understanding about all those projects what we are executing. We can highlight multiple activities through this. If there is something where there is a risk or if there is something which needs an immediate attention, a user can have an understanding on that. Similarly, resource center is nothing but about all those resources which are part of our projects, how they are allocated. Can we utilize those resources in a better way? So resource center can help us in doing all those jugglings between those resources. Similarly, we have a module which is called as timesheet view. When we say timesheet view, most of the time, considering these kind of infrastructure projects where contractors or subcontractors, they are not always online, or it is difficult for them to update the progress, this is a simple view of updating a progress, where we have parameters which can be in terms of completed or not completed, or the timelines. So these all are configurable things, but yes, this is something which is an important piece of application which can help us to have a real-time view of any projects what we are delivering. Gantt chart, most of the time we keep on doing multiple projects, but since we don't have a single repository, we try to rebuild the entire schedule. So this kind of application can help us to identify a similar kind of projects what we have done earlier, and it can automatically populate the entire schedule for that particular project. Project team site, like I have mentioned about a life cycle solution where we have an inbuilt document management system. So this is particular place where all the team members who are part of that project can upload any document. Not only these documents, but at any point of time, if we need to do a modification on these documents, the system will provide us the recent auditable document which is available to us. And this is going to help us in doing all those risk mitigation or proactive decision making if all these documents are readily available to us. System has a project web app which makes it easy to access the application through any device, whether it be a mobile or an Android phone or an iPhone or any device available with us. I have just given you a brief understanding about how an application looks like, but we also have a business intelligence or analytics tool inbuilt into it, where we can configure a dashboard based on the roles and responsibilities of stakeholders. Let me give you an example. This is a portfolio dashboard, where we have a clear view of project cost, how many projects we are doing, if there is a variance, what is that variance, and this can be configured as red, green, or yellow, so that at any point of time, if a management wants to take a call, whether this project is moving on time or what all are the risks involved into it, they can proactively take a call onto it. Similarly, there can be a dashboard which can be prepared for risks, and these risks are based on the KRAs that we have defined, whether we want to do a micromanagement or macro management. But any risk which is there and which needs an immediate attention can be created in a dashboard form, so that whosoever wants to take a call or whosoever wants to have an understanding on those risks, these all are readily available. And these dashboards can be available on mobile or on any medium. Similarly, resource availability. Most of the time, since we don't have a single repository of our resources, we try to juggle down between the resources available. And that is, again, a big challenge, because most of the time we have seen that either we are not utilizing the right resources or we are overusing those resources. With these kind of analysis, we can have a clear understanding whosoever has an expertise in delivering this particular kind of project, is he available, and this is again linked to his availability. Similarly, we can have portfolio status, and these projects can be in terms of civil projects, electrical projects, location-wise projects, region-wise projects, all those things we can do. So this was a brief understanding about an application what we have as Project Online, which is an end-to-end lifecycle management solution. We have got 20 million users of project right now, with more than 10,000 organizations using this solution. And based on various research analysts, Microsoft Project Online is rated as one of the best project management tools when we talk about enterprise project portfolio. And you will see there are many names into it, which means that the solution can fit into any industry vertical. It can be an ITS organization, it can be a BFSI organization, it can be an engineering and construction organization, you name it. Any project which needs to be delivered with a variance of cost, time, resources can be monitored through this. So this was a brief glimpse what I could present in this just 15 minutes time, but we would be more than keen to present the same solution at your place whenever you need it. You can connect with us through our digital community, which is we have a LinkedIn community called as Microsoft India Digital Community. you can enroll there. You can send us an email to me and Sanyukta. Our email IDs are mentioned. We would love to do an industry-specific workshop for you where we can align our partners, or I can personally visit and present the solution to you. So this is a brief glimpse about the project or digital project management solution what we have. Yeah. Thank you.